Welcome in to PFF's 2-Minute Drill, the Friday version of the 2-Minute Drill. I'm here with Sam Monson. We don't have a third guy with us today. We don't have a third analyst here with us. It's just me, you and me, Sam, on this one. Starting with this question here, Aaron Donald or J.J. Watt? And I want to add this too. If J.J. Watt is fully healthy, a fully healthy Aaron Donald or a fully healthy J.J. Watt?
Good thing is you're bringing enough heat and energy for at least another guy, Austin, so we're good. Look, I know you're going to go with Aaron Donald. I think most people would, but I want to make the case for J.J. Watt because you go back to his best play. I think he was almost as good a pass rusher as Aaron Donald, but he was a far, far better run defender, and he made way more impact plays in that regard. Let's look at defensive stops. So they're generally tackles that are in and around the line of scrimmage, offensive failures on the play. They also include the sacks, though, as well. A 3-year period, J.J. Watt's best 3-year period, he had 110 more defensive stops than Aaron Donald. So wow. Donald might pressure the quarterback more, but J.J. Watt is wrecking all kinds of plays in the backfield at his best. I think we kind of forget just how good he was because of what's gone on since with his injuries and stuff, but he was right up there with Aaron Donald.
I would agree with you that J.J. Watt's injuries have clouded just how dominant he was in his primes. I mean, this guy's defensive player of the year for multiple years. However, I got to go Aaron Donald, baby. I'm not talking hypotheticals. The 5 best single-season pass rushing grades we've ever seen from a defensive tackle, dating back to 2006, all 5 are owned by Aaron Donald. This guy is absurd. He's just something rare. We're not going to see another Aaron Donald, and I'm not convinced we're going to see another J.J. Watt either. But what Aaron Donald has done is insane. You're running out of adjectives to describe this guy. He's that good. He breaks our metrics. He's broken our system. I can't believe J.J. Watt's in the conversation, but Aaron Donald is by himself among pure defensive tackles. Fletcher Cox, I don't think, really scratches the surface on what Aaron Donald has done.
Yeah, Donald also has the best pass rush win rate and pressure rate of any player at any position over the past decade. Wow. So he is the best pass rusher in the NFL. Let's pivot to the next topic. What do we make of the Cleveland Browns heading into 2020? What are they going to do?
I mean, we had such high expectations for the Browns in 2019. Sam, we made a video about the Browns going to the Super Bowl as a joke, thinking that that was how high these expectations should go. We thought Baker Mayfield was going to take a second step after a very good rookie year, the best rookie year we've seen since Russell Wilson. That's what Baker Mayfield had, by the way, in 2018. The best rookie season from a PFF grade standpoint since Russell Wilson. We had high expectations. Odell Beckham Jr. was added to the mix. I mean, there was just so much reason to believe in this football team, and they just fell flat. And I'm going to blame a lot of that on Freddie Kitchens. I think the coaching change is going to have such a positive impact on Baker Mayfield. Yes, they added Jedrick Wills. Yes, they added Jack Conklin. That offensive line, specifically at the 2 bookends, is going to be better in 2020. But what Stefanski brings with his 2 tight end sets, how he protects the quarterback, how he makes decisions easier for the quarterback under center, I think is going to help Baker Mayfield a ton. And even if you get close to what Baker Mayfield did as a rookie in 2018 across a full 16-game season, they could contend for the 3rd best team in the AFC behind the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow. Yeah, I'm with you. I think they've gone out of their way to make this situation better heading into this year. You can look at it 2 ways. Either they have done everything possible to help out Baker Mayfield. They've improved the pass protection around him. They've brought in tight ends that make the offense function. They brought in a new scheme that should play to his strengths, and they have a healthy Odell Beckham this year as opposed to a guy battling through injury all season long. So that should be a huge part of it. And then the other way of looking at that is they've basically ticked off all of the other potential excuses. So now all of the pressure is on Baker Mayfield. But I think either way, it all rests on what Baker can do. And ultimately, we have 5 seasons worth of data on Baker Mayfield, and 4 of them are good. So we should expect him to bounce back after last year. Whatever happened with the Browns a year ago was bad enough that it managed to get all of the negatives out of Baker Mayfield's play. But there have been so many more positives over all the time we've been watching him play. He should be able to bounce back to a much higher standard of play.
And I'm glad you brought up the 5 seasons of data, because if you go back to what he did at Oklahoma, it was fantastic, up there with the best single-season passing grades we've seen from a quarterback at the collegiate level since we started grading college in 2014. I think Baker Mayfield, a lot of the data points that Freddie Kitchens was a blip in what should be a very successful career, college and NFL, for the young Browns starting quarterback. All right, moving to this. Nick Wright called you out a little bit, Sam. Why in the world? I think he said it was indefensible that Patrick Mahomes was not on the all-decade 101 list released by PFF on PFF.com right now. Defend it. Why isn't Patrick Mahomes a top player of the decade on the 101?
Indefensible and an abomination. Don't forget that.
It is an indefensible abomination.
I didn't hear abomination.
I think ultimately Patrick Mahomes basically played 20% of the decade, and we decided that wasn't high enough to get a guy on this list. You know, we are talking about the 101 best players in the past 10 years of NFL action, and you've got to lend some kind of weight to how much you played of that decade. You know, Patrick Mahomes played essentially 20% of the decade, and we just determined that was not high enough. We set a threshold, and he didn't meet it. And, you know, if you're going to say that what he did in those 2 seasons was so good that it should put him on the list, then you just open a dangerous door, because does Lamar get on there for 1 season's worth of spectacular play? It's an unnecessary, messy way of doing this. We're going to give credit to guys that played really well over a much longer period than that, because that's what the all-decade team and the all-decade list should be about.
Yeah, the conversation or the argument isn't about Patrick Mahomes specifically. It's about structuring an all-decade list. Do you include players that did not play above 20, 15% of the decade? Because you also got to include that one game he played in 2017, Sam, and it was very fantastic as well. But I think, again, the conversation is, do you include players, that played less than 20% of the decade? Also, do you factor in significantly positional value? Because I think a lot of those players don't get included on the 101 because the quarterback's obviously being more value across decades. Lamar Jackson's probably more valuable than Jordan Gross, given what he did with the Baltimore Ravens this past season. I, however, think Patrick Mahomes belongs on that list. Screw thresholds for the all-decade teams. I think Lamar goes on there. Patrick Mahomes goes on there. I'm willing to put, Josh Allen. I don't know. We're getting crazy here. All right. I just think, again, the conversation is, do you include a threshold or not? I think Patrick Mahomes breaks the rule. He is better than what the threshold argument may be. Patrick Mahomes is just that good.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.